Ian, welcome to your first East Bank Weekly.
Thank you.
Firstly, let's talk about what does your job involve at the club?
Well, I'm the kit man for the club, looks after the first team. Involves obviously the setting out of kit and the picking up of the dirty kit and everything in between, little things that happen. So on match days especially, you just got to deal with things as they crop up. But essentially it is just making sure that they've got the right equipment in the right place at the right time. And so when the players come in, all they focus on is hopefully just playing football and not have to worry about all the little ththings, because that's the thing I'm there for, to do, is to deal with all that.
You mentioned also having a couple of volunteers that help you out during the week as well.
Yes, big thank you to Clive Andrews, who's basically here all week, and they've got a new regime that all the training kit is kept here and looked after on site. So Clive looks after all that for me. So he gets it cleaned, dries and put away in their boxes. And obviously I've got my volunteer assistant kit man, Steve Francis, who helps me out with most away games. Unless they're a bit far away, then he doesn't tend not to bother. And then I have Bob Green, who helps me out, the club secretary. So between the four of us, we get the job done.
It's almost like a small department of yours in a way.
Oh yeah, I like to expand my department, yeah. So I like to think that I've got my workers working for me.
And how did you get into sort of the kit man role?
Well, not a lot of people know this, but I was in the Royal Air Force, and I spent a long time being the kit man for the Royal Air Force, and I thought that's a good job because we went to exotic places, we went all over the world, and I thought, I could do this real time. And then obviously I met with Steve Francis at Oxford, where I was very briefly the kit man there, and I mentioned to Steve that I'd still like to be involved, and Steve Francis said come down and help me out, and that was 5 years ago, and I'm still here now.
Still best friends with him today?
Yeah, still best friends with him, yeah. He's moved on to pastures new, and they're big shoes to fill. Have you seen the size of his feet? And yeah, he's been great, and he is. I count him as a real good friend now. Which keeps me coming down, and like I say, he still helps me out and he still gives me advice on how to do things, and yeah, it's really good. And like I say, I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. And
you mentioned your role as the kit man in the forces as well. How different is that from working in a football club?
Oh, hugely. I thought it'd be pretty similar, but reality is we'd go away on and do a tour somewhere, and it's very concise and comprehensive, and you just do it like for that week and it's done, and then you go back to your normal work. Whereas here, having this sort of day in, week out, it's a massive difference.
And what's the best part of the job here?
I just love it now. So I'm here today, it's empty, it's a weird thing, maybe it's my OCD, but I just love it being all nice and quiet, and I can just get on with my job, folding kit. Strangely I do enjoy folding kit, folding towels, making it all nice and neat, and then obviously on match day they come in and totally destroy it, the players, but that's fine. And then obviously picking it all up at the end and tidying it all away again.
And what's that relationship like with the players this season?
They're a good bunch of lads, seriously they are, a good bunch of lads. Most of them are really thoughtful and help me out. And yeah, they always offer if they can do something and stuff. So yeah, no problem at all.
And obviously it's quite a difficult one to ask, but is there a worse part of your job at all?
No, not really. Obviously, over the seasons, the travelling, because obviously I tend more often than not that we've gone up on the day and come back on the day. So, for example, like Harrogate the other week was a long day. We started off at 4 o'clock in the morning and get back home at 2 in the morning. So that's a long day. But then again, Bob Green helped me out that day. And if you've ever been in the van with Bob Green, time seems to go very quickly, and we got home quite early.
I think that's the thing with most jobs though, isn't it? It's the travel to most places, particularly long distances, they're quite difficult for any job.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're used to it because obviously, transport has changed. A lot of the player and staff generally go up by train now, so there's not that many stopovers, and I'm more than happy with that. I prefer to really, if we can, travel up on the day anyway, because then...
It's been quite an exciting season and a bit of a up and down season so far. What's been your favourite moment so far this year?
Well, it's what we're trying to achieve, I think. I understand from various ways, we've gone part-time rather than having a full-time, and we've worked around it, and it's just the vision for the future, I think. I generally believe, the club is going to go forward and going forward for the better.
And is that again working straight from the top with Danny and higher up people?
Yeah, I mean, I'm privileged that I can hear what Danny says in the changing rooms and what goes on in the changing room stays in the changing room. But I can generally say, you've got to believe in what's going on and trust and support, and that's what I do. Win, lose or draw, my job doesn't change. It's clean kit at the start, dirty kit at the end. That's it.
And we mentioned the season briefly there as well. How do you think it's gone so far this year?
Well, I think I think hopefully we've done better than we are, personally, and just seeing how the lads are and everything. I just think we just haven't got the results that I think we should have got. But like I say, I'm just a kit man. I don't do tactics.
You leave that to Danny.
I leave that to Danny.
And just finally, where do you see yourself and the club going over the next few years or next year?
Well, I don't know. I just take it this season, see where we're at the end of this season, see what Danny wants to do going forward. He might have different ideas, he might want something different, I don't know. And that's the genuine truth. But I'm happy enough doing what I'm doing. But if they feel they need to go to another direction and do something a bit more, because I can only work part-time, I can't do full-time.
And how important is that relationship for you, working with Danny and Anwar and the rest of the first team staff there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that Danny trusts me to do my job and get it done, so therefore he's not micromanaging me, he just lets me get on with it, which is great, which is how I like to work anyway. And then if there's any issues or whatever, I highlight them, and as anyone knows, I don't get stressed that often at all. But yeah, things are, but if they need to be said, I say them, and then they get sorted, so yeah, there's no real problem.
You win with a shot. For more information, click the link in description.
Click here for the next video, click here to subscribe.